You ever notice how some beings don't chase the spotlight, but somehow they own the room anyway? Like, they're not trying to impress anyone, they just exist, and you can't help but be intrigued. That's the Okapi. Hello wild vibers, vibes of a wildlife here. Welcome to another video where we dive into the heart, humor, and unexpected life lessons from the animal kingdom. It looks like it can't quite make up its mind. A little zebra, a little deer, maybe even a dash of giraffe in there. But that's the thing, it's none of those. The Okapi doesn't fit your labels. It walks through the rainforest like a secret the world forgot to tell. Calm, composed, and entirely unbothered that most people don't even know it exists. There's something magnetic about that kind of quiet confidence, right? The kind that doesn't ask to be noticed, it just is. And before we get into this mysterious forest royal, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this video with a friend who appreciates nature's hidden gems, and subscribe so you'll never miss another wild lesson in confidence and calm. Now, let's start where this story hides, deep in the Congo's shadowy heart. So here's where the story gets interesting. For generations, people living deep in the Congo told tales of a strange animal wandering the forest. A kind of forest zebra that no outsiders ever managed to see. To the locals, it was just part of life. To Western scientists, though, it sounded like folklore, a bedtime story told under the stars. They brushed it off, thinking it couldn't possibly exist. Then came 1901. A British explorer named Sir Harry Johnston followed the clues, tracks, skins, and whispers from local hunters, and finally proved what the Congolese people had known all along. The Okapi was real. Not a zebra, not a horse, not a deer, but a giraffe's secret cousin hiding in plain sight. Now, just so you know where this story takes place, the Congo sits in the heart of Central Africa. It's home to one of the world's largest rainforests, second only to the Amazon. Picture a landscape thick with mist, ancient trees, and a constant hum of life, where sunlight filters through the layers of green like it's trying to sneak in quietly. That's the Okapi's world. It doesn't roam the open plains like its giraffe cousin. It thrives in dense, tropical forests, feeding on leaves, fruits, and fungi, and moving so silently, it can vanish between two breaths. And here's the twist. The Okapi isn't a hybrid of a giraffe and a zebra, even though it looks like one. It's a full species of its own, sharing ancestry with the giraffe, but not mixed with anything else. The stripes? Just nature's creative way of helping it blend into the shadows. Evolution's version of camouflage couture. They share the same family roots. Both have that long, prehensile tongue for plucking leaves, those soft, wide eyes tuned to movement, and even those skin-covered horns called ossicones. The difference? One reaches for the sky, the other stays grounded in the calm of the canopy. That discovery flipped zoology on its head. Proof that even in a world obsessed with facts and categories, mystery still has its throne. And honestly, I love that, because the Okapi didn't change. People just finally noticed what had been there all along. It's a reminder that not everything rare seeks recognition. Some things and some people are meant to be quietly extraordinary. You don't need validation to be valuable. Sometimes just existing, fully, calmly, and on your own terms, is the real power move. Speaking of quiet though, the Okapi doesn't just happen to stay hidden. That calm invisibility, it's not luck. It's an art form and a survival skill. The Okapi doesn't just live in the forest, it moves like it belongs to it. You could be standing a few feet away and never know it's there. Its coat, that deep velvety brown, doesn't just look beautiful, it absorbs and bends light in a way that makes it almost disappear in the shadows. Every step is calculated, slow, deliberate, like it's dancing to music only the forest can hear. It doesn't rush, doesn't stumble, just glides. That's why locals call it the African unicorn, not because it has a horn, though it does have little ones under its skin, but because it feels mythical, like something you only catch in the corner of your eye before it fades back into the trees. And get this, you won't find the Okapi anywhere else on Earth in the wild. It's endemic to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and there's a reason for that. The Congo's Ituri rainforest is an ancient ecosystem, dense, humid, and layered with vegetation that's been evolving for millions of years. The Okapi is a product of that environment. Its entire body, from its muted colors to its quiet behavior, is shaped by the forest itself. Those thick trees protect it from predators, the constant shadows help it blend in, and the endless supply of leaves and fruit keeps it fed. Over time, the Okapi didn't just adapt to the Congo, it became part of it. That's also why you don't see it roaming anywhere else. The rainforest provides a balance that other environments simply can't replicate. The right temperature, the right diet, the right cover. Move it out of that equation, and it loses its edge. The Congo isn't just where the Okapi lives, it's the only place where everything about the Okapi makes perfect sense. What's even more fascinating is how it communicates. The Okapi doesn't roar, chirp, or call out. It uses low-frequency sounds that humans can't even detect. Deep vibrations that travel through the forest floor and air. Messages meant only for those who are tuned in. It also leaves scent markings on trees. Subtle chemical notes only another Okapi can read. To us, it's silence. To them, it's a whole conversation. One made of patience, privacy, and intention. There's something powerful about that kind of quiet. You don't always have to make noise to make an impact. Some of the strongest connections, like the Okapi's whispers, happen in the still moments, between those who really listen. It's the same with people, isn't it? The loudest voice in the room isn't always the one that leads. Sometimes it's the calm presence, the one that doesn't need attention, but changes the tone of everything just by being there. But here's the twist. This animal's still full of surprises, especially when it sticks out its tongue. Now, let's talk about one of the Okapi's most impressive features, that tongue. This thing is ridiculous in the best way. It can stretch over 18 inches long enough to wrap around branches, pluck tender leaves, and even reach places no one expects. Like its own eyes and ears. Yeah, you heard that right. The Okapi can literally clean its own eyelids with its tongue. That's not just flexibility, that's finesse. But there's a reason behind that strange little talent. The Okapi lives in one of the dampest, most insect-filled environments on the planet. The rainforest might be beautiful, but it's crawling with flies, ticks, and all kinds of tiny hitchhikers, just waiting for a free ride. So, when the Okapi licks its eyelids or cleans the insides of its ears, it's not being extra. It's doing maintenance. It's keeping debris, insects, and bacteria away from sensitive spots that could cause infection. Think of it as its own built-in grooming system. No spa day required. And when it's not grooming, that same tongue is hard at work stripping leaves straight off branches. Now, here's what's wild. Those branches can be rough, sometimes even thorny, but the Okapi's tongue is tough enough to handle it. The surface is covered in a thick, textured layer that keeps it from getting scraped or cut while feeding. It's flexible, but it's strong, like a perfect balance between muscle and armor. So it can reach high, twist around branches, and pull in food without a single nick. What I love about it is how unbothered the Okapi is about it. It's not using that tongue to show off or make a scene. It's just doing what needs to be done, efficiently, quietly, and beautifully. That long, dark blue tongue is its ultimate multi-tool, fine-tuned by evolution to keep it alive and looking flawless in one smooth motion. It's like nature handed it a Swiss Army knife and said, "You won't need much else." And maybe that's the point. True adaptability isn't about showing off every skill, it's about using what you have with purpose and precision. The Okapi doesn't waste movement. It doesn't need flash or spectacle. Every action has a reason. That's the kind of self-assured energy I think a lot of us could use, knowing what you bring to the table and use it with quiet confidence. And speaking of precision, even its fashion sense has intention behind it. Now, let's get into what might be the Okapi's most misunderstood feature, those stripes. Everyone sees them and instantly thinks zebra, right? But here's the reminder, the Okapi isn't related to the zebra at all, not even close. Zebras are part of the horse family, while the Okapi's closest relative is the giraffe. So even though they both wear stripes, they wear them for completely different reasons, and that's where things get interesting. For zebras, those stripes are all about standing out. They use them for social recognition and to confuse predators in open spaces. When a herd runs together, all those black and white lines blur into a dizzying pattern that makes it hard for lions to lock onto a single target. It's chaos as protection, safety in the spotlight. But the Okapi? Total opposite. Its stripes are about disappearing. Deep in the rainforest, sunlight filters through the trees and broken beams, creating patches of light and dark. The Okapi's stripes mimic that pattern perfectly. To predators like leopards, those legs don't look like an animal. They look like part of the forest. It's stealth, not spectacle. The Okapi's not trying to confuse you. It's trying not to be found in the first place. And here's another difference. Okapis don't live in herds. They're mostly solitary animals. You might find a mother with her calf, but otherwise, they prefer their own company. They mark their territory with scent, communicate with low-frequency sounds, and cross paths only when necessary. So those stripes aren't for blending into a crowd. They're for blending into the forest and maintaining quiet connections with the few that truly matter. And that's the beautiful part. Those stripes aren't just camouflage, they're connection. In the dim light of the forest, Okapi calves use their mother's stripes as a guide, following those white bands through the undergrowth like a living trail. It's an intimate kind of communication, built on trust and instinct rather than noise. But wait, no two Okapis share the same pattern. Each set of stripes is unique, almost like a fingerprint. But instead of helping them stand out, those patterns help them belong. It's nature's subtle reminder that strength doesn't always come from being surrounded by many. Sometimes, it's found in the quiet bond between just a few. And that hits deeper than it seems. In a world obsessed with being seen, the Okapi stripes remind us that sometimes the real strength is in staying connected. You don't always have to shine under the spotlight to matter. Sometimes the ones walking beside you, the ones who understand your rhythm, your silence, your quirks, they're the ones who make the journey worth it. It's not always about being seen. Sometimes it's about belonging. The ones who walk beside you matter more than the crowd that's watching. But there's one more thing about the Okapi that ties it all together. It's energy. A calm that borders on regal. The Okapi is a masterclass in quiet power. It doesn't roar, chase, or demand space. It simply is. There's something almost meditative about the way it moves through the world. Half giraffe, half zebra in appearance, yet belonging to neither. It lives comfortably between light and shadow. In a forest full of noise and competition, the Okapi's calm is its strength. It doesn't need to prove anything. It's already balanced. A living example that peace can be powerful. And I think that's what makes it so magnetic. The Okapi doesn't fight for attention, but it earns respect the moment you learn its story. It's not loud, but it's unforgettable. It's the kind of presence that makes you stop and pay attention, not because it's demanding it, but because it's centered. It reminds us that sometimes being grounded is the most regal thing you can be. In its quiet way, the Okapi teaches something powerful. You don't have to fit the mold to be majestic. You just have to move with peace in your own rhythm. It doesn't matter if the world doesn't understand you right away. What matters is that you understand yourself, that you know your lane, your pace, and your purpose. The Okapi isn't trying to outshine anyone. It's just being exactly what it was designed to be, and that's enough. But here's what really gets me. The Okapi thrives in contrast. Its whole existence is built on it. Dark coat, bright stripes. Part of one world yet belonging to another. That mix, that in-between energy, is what makes it so special. It's a walking reminder that contrast doesn't make us out of place. It makes us complete. The light only matters because of the shadow beside it. The Okapi doesn't erase one side to please the other. It carries both beautifully. And that's how it fits perfectly into its world. True confidence isn't loud. It's steady, graceful, and deeply rooted in self-acceptance. It's not about having all eyes on you. It's about being comfortable when no one's watching. The Okapi doesn't need validation to know its worth. And honestly, neither do we. So when we look at the Okapi, we're not just seeing a rare animal. We're seeing a reminder of what it means to live fully, quietly, and authentically. To embrace every contrast, every oddity, every shade of who we are. Because that's where our real beauty lives. The Okapi's story is one of balance, mystery, and self-assured stillness. The kind of energy that doesn't need to prove a thing. It's living proof that you can be unique without explanation and powerful without the performance. That's the beauty of it. Quiet strength doesn't announce itself. It simply exists. And somehow, that makes it even more captivating. So, Wild Vibers, what's your version of quiet strength? Maybe it's your patience, your focus, or the way you hold your ground when the world's trying to rush you. Drop it in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more dives into the heart, humor, and unexpected life lessons from the animal kingdom. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, stay wild, stay curious, and remember, even in the deepest forest, confidence doesn't need to be seen to be felt.